want you to imagine this. You begin to open your eyes and suddenly realize you're in this medieval castle surrounded by your most trusted knights, nobles, and counselors, all of which are surrounding a large table with a battle plan map. You then realize they're all waiting for you to say something because after all, you are their king. You then look down and ponder a bit on the map as you observe your army's pieces as well as your enemies. As your warriors are planning, you begin to ask yourself, will this plan really work? Out of nowhere, one of your soldiers run into the room. My lord, I'm afraid I have some dire news. Our initial plan has been compromised for the enemy has appeared from the east. That isn't very good. But then another thought appears in your mind. We're simply gonna have to counter with a new, better plan. You immediately stand up and boldly tell your people, let us not be swayed with discouragement, for this isn't a rejection ending with failure, but instead view it as a simple redirection towards a new victory. And so, with everyone encouraged by your uplifting words, all got back together in creating a new plan. You know, if you ever played a game of chess, what are the odds of that exact same thought coming across your mind? This brings us into chapter 7 of Think and Grow Rich, in which Napoleon Hill talks about how one can achieve extraordinary success through the 6th principle called organized planning. Back in chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich, we learned about the 6 definite practical steps as your first move in translating desire into money. And if you remember, one of those steps is the formation of a definite practical plan or plans. So, in order to obtain your desire of, let's say, creating wealth, Napoleon Hill starts this chapter by making it very clear that whatever plan you make, you will eventually need to collaborate with others, much like a king does with his trusted warriors. No individual can make it entirely on their own, but a plan devised with your people can outstand among others. So then, how do we really approach this? Well, this goes with a quote that Hill said, every plan you adopt in your endeavor to accumulate wealth should be the collective creation of yourself and every other member of your mastermind group. The Mastermind Group. Remember back in chapter 5 when we first learned about Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie having masterminds? Hill shows that you must associate yourself with other people to create a direction and put your plan into action. And he calls this group of people the Mastermind, which he also dedicates a whole lot in another chapter later in the book. So, to start this mastermind, Hill recommends following these 4 simple steps. Step number 1. Ally yourself with a mastermind group that consists of people who can help you carry out your plan. Step number 2. Before assembling the group, you need to determine what you can offer them in return for their help and cooperation. Step number 3. Meet with the people at least twice a week or more if possible until a solid plan has been created. Step number 4. Maintain good relations between you and the group at all times. Now then, this brings us to the next point in the chapter, which mentions how just because you finish crafting a plan doesn't mean that plan is going to work. Just like the king with his warriors, their first plan was compromised. There's going to be bumps along the road, with many a times those initial plans failing. But Hill also states that the process of planning must be continuous and persistent, as quote, if the first plan you adopt does not work successfully, replace it with a new plan, and if the new plan fails to work, replace it and churn with still another, and so on until you find a plan which does work. Even Thomas Edison, who's known for his 10,000 failed plans before he perfected the light bulb, once said, temporary defeat should only mean only one thing. There's certain knowledge that there's something wrong with your plan. If your plan fails, go back to the drawing board and keep refining it until a plan works. Now, the rest of the chapter goes into a variety of detailed practical guides that Napoleon Hill dedicated a lot of his time into this book. So much so that made the chapter over 40 pages long. The main ideas from these guides are about many things such as rendering important useful services, which is a lot about adding value to others into the world. There are important topics such as 11 qualities of a leader, 30 causes of failure in life, and 28 questions you should ask yourself annually to gauge your progress. I highly highly recommend reading through them by yourself and apply some of the knowledge he brings out. Up next, Chapter 8 will dive into the 7th step to riches called Decision. If you're enjoying this series so far, please drop a like, that would really help a lot. And again, friendly reminder, you can start this book right now for free thanks to Audible. Link in the description below. I'll see you in the next chapter.